Hey, pixel geeks, grab a tea. Jack and her robots, Excel set free. Collect commands, full speed ahead. The series runs from A to Z. Oh, a robot training show. A to Z. Let's go.
Hello and welcome back. We are on Bushland Adventures. I'm working through from A to Z, or at least through as many letters of the alphabet as there are, a list of cases where I'm randomly selecting a case and doing it entirely using OA Robot, not doing any intermediate steps. So, this one, we drew B, Bushland Adventures by Nick Boberg. This case, I was delighted that it wasn't backgammon, but I cheered too soon, I'm not gonna lie. And I've ended up with what is a very hard case anyway, or a hard case. And I didn't do too great so far on this, and I've spent 25 hours in total building up to the point where I can actually do this video. I think I started this in March. So it's taken quite a while just to do the one case. So American Bingo, I knew it was a lot easier than the other cases would be. I did not bargain for this. It has been heavy. So for Bushland Adventures, my initial score at 30 minutes was 404 points out of 1250. My 30-minute time, well, that was for 30 minutes, obviously. For the full score, it took me a total of 71.5 minutes. I have flies in my face. And I've spent 25 hours generating this following robot solve that we're about to do. So this is our robot solve. It's taken 13 sessions. The last session I didn't actually do very much. I did one fix which isn't actually listed here, so it doesn't show anything. But each of these steps is a step that's happening in OA Robot. We have 230 total steps. For A, we had 45 steps. I did predict it would be the shortest one, but we're up to 230 steps. So we're going to work through this case from A to Z, doing all of these steps. Now, before we start, I'm going to make sure that I have closed Excel. Here's the game on the platform. It is A to Z Training B OA Robot is the title of the game. You can see we've got Bushland Adventure selected. I've given myself 6 hours. That's not strictly needed. In fact, I'll take this down to 2 hours. And even then, I'm hoping that working through all 230 steps will get done within the time limit. So we're going to hit start and load the case, but first I'm just going to open up A to Z Training again, make sure that that's open. We've got a fresh instance of Excel. We've had some of the classic issues that we used to get with the data tables not recalculating. And this is our full list here. I'm going to pop this onto my other screen. But before we do, let's start the case, download it, and open. So I'm going to start the game, download the file. As always, I download 2 copies of the files, and we open the file. There we go. I'm moving our to-do list to my next screen so that I can quickly see what each of the steps are that we're doing. And we're going to run through all these steps now. So first up, we've got a fresh file. We're going to start by naming the ranges. So this is anything starting with B space dash. That is something that is case specific. It's a command I'm never going to use outside of this case. So we're going to start Bushland Adventures, which is a case where we have a terrain map of bushland, a topographic mesh of bushland, a speed that you move across each, a way of calculating the weight of the pack that you need for hikes of different durations, and then you need to calculate things like what is the weight of the pack that you need, if you're going across this terrain and you're traveling this many kilometers, how fast or how long will it take you in minutes, and so on. This gets progressively harder as we go through, and eventually introduces specific routes that you're following in cells in the map. So to kick us off, we need to name all our ranges. So we're going to do name ranges, Bushland Adventures. This has gone through, it's putting the values in there, and it's actually done a copy on this table that it's generated over here. Our second step is a sum by step last, and that uses a pasted value. So we did the copy in the previous step for that one. And finally, we're going to select current region. That is the cumulative lookup that we need for assigning the pack weight in time, in hours. So we're going to name ranges. The second name ranges one here, which is the cumulative pack name range. And then we're going to get started. We've done all our prep work. We're going to go to level 1. I've actually started using this L1, L2 in competitions now, or in other cases where I just type L1, L2 and it takes me to the relevant level. It means I can jump about, go up to my bonuses a lot quicker. So first up, we're going to run a command specific to this one, and it's called remove hours. It's just removing hours from hike length. No, it's not. That's not the last input column. I don't know what it's doing now. Okay, remove hours. Apparently in this version we have to go to the right of that. Okay, from this one we're going to make an array to the right. So this is going to take a copy of this hike length and put it into an array to the right. That's pointing at all of those values, and we're going to look up column 2 of pack sums. So that is looking up the pack, the total pack amount based on the hike length, and that actually gives us our answer for this one. So we can then just select the spill range, and we're going to use Control-Shift-S, which is an MEWC robot command by Eric, to just put the values into the thing to the left. So now we've got those, we can go over to our level 1 and paste those in, and we have 100% on level 1. Now we're going to level 2. We're going to remove kilometers. Now again, that's doing an odd thing, so let's try it from here. If I did that. So remove kilometers does work in the okay, so remove kilometers works there. if I've got the range selected, the first inputs. We're going to select the next column. That's our terrain column. And we're going to make an array to the right of that one. So there's our grass, snow, rock. That's all our terrain. And what we've got here is we've got a special command for this one to look up terrain speed. So this tells us what the speed is for that. It just is giving an XLOOKUP on the speeds table. Once we've looked up the terrain speed, we're going to select the first input. That's our hike distance with kilometers now removed. And we're going to make an array to the right of this one. So now that's off to the right. We know our speed, we know our distance here, and we're going to do a little kind of divide by the array to the left. So that's why we've moved it to the right. We can take this array divided by the array immediately to the left. Okay, and multiply that by 60 to get minutes, and then we're going to apply it around to 0. There's our thing, select spill range, and we're going to use Ctrl-Shift-S to copy the answers to the left. And if we go over here, that has given us the correct answers for level 2. Going on to level 3. We're now at level 3. What we've got is we've got a hike distance, we've got a terrain, and we want to know what the speed is once you adjust it, allowing for your pack weight. So, again, we need to remove kilometers. So I'm going to do first input because I noticed the remove kilometers doesn't work out of sync at the moment with that. So first input, remove kilometers. We're going to select the next column. So this is our terrain. We're going to make an array to the right. And we're going to look up terrain speed. Excellent. So again, we're going to go back to the first input. And now we're going to make an array 3 to the right. That just kind of like goes off and makes an array 3 spaces to the right. And duplicate array formula to the right. So we've got the same array formula twice now because we're going to use it in different calculations. So first up, we're going to select the previous column. And we're going to divide the array by the array to the left. So that's exactly the same step as we've done previously. And then we're going to look up column 2 of pack sums. So that now tells us that takes this value we've calculated by dividing. We've not multiplied by 60 to get minutes. We've used it as hours to look up the total pack weight depending on the duration there. So that's our pack weight at the moment. And we've looked that up. We're going to select the spill range because we love selecting the spill range, and we're going to make an array to the right. So that's just duplicating it again, and we're going to do a speed multiplier. So this is a special one for this. It calculates a speed multiplier by doing this calculation here, 1 minus whatever that value was over 10,000. Once we've got that, we're going to multiply this by the leftmost array. Multiply array by the leftmost array. So that will go all the way to the left, look for the leftmost array, and multiply by that. Which has gone too far, it should actually be multiplying by that. This has worked when I run it from start to finish. So we'll just assume that certain things work and certain things don't. I think there's meant to be a gap here. At the start of level 3, am I supposed to do it 2? Yeah, I was meant to make an array 2 to the right. So there we go. Got that multiply array by leftmost array, and that gives us out 4.8 times 2,400. Still not friggin' working. How is that even a thing? Okay. What multiply array by leftmost array does is it should be picking up the leftmost array there, going to the left, picking that up. Then we've selected previous column, divided array by the array to the left, look up back sum, select the spell range, make array to the right, done a speed multiply, and then we need to multiply by 1,000. That gives us 3648. That's the actual answer. We're going to select spell range, and we're going to save the game answer to left with Control-Shift-S, which is Eric's. I love the MEWC robot command. There we go. So we're going on to level 4 now. Not left 4, level 4. Okay, so for level 4 what we've got is we have a hiking route, we have certain terrain that we want to look at, and we want to know how many items on that hiking route are that terrain. So part of my setup, we did a select by color, and all these colors were set to the value of the terrain. So now that we're at level 4, we're going to select last input, which should be that one. I'm wondering if there's something odd in this file versus the answer file. Okay, so that's our select last input. We're going to duplicate this formula to the right. And it automatically goes there. We're going to then apply my split text by semicolon, and that splits out each one by semicolon. So now we've got all the cells individually, and we want to do a lookup. So we have a command called address lookup from parameter range name, where you can hit enter and then you type in the range name. In our case, what we're actually going to do is we've got one that's looking up from terrain map. That gives us all of our terrains as they appear on the terrain map in those specific cells. And then we're going to select first input. That one worked. Yay! I love it when a plan comes together. I probably should have tested this on a file downloaded from the website, because they've been testing it on the answer file to see if that's working. So we've got the first input selected. We're going to copy that to the clipboard. We're going to select next column twice. So now we're in this one. So we've got rock, water, blah, blah, blah on the clipboard, and we're selecting these arrays that are arrays of terrain. And we're going to call a great new one, which is paste filter array by copied cells. And now I've got column 1 or row 1. So we're going to use row 1 because our arrays are horizontal. And that filters those arrays to just the ones where it matches, which is great. It means we can literally just do a count columns of arrays. And you can see there's one there that says #calc. That's because there were no snow. So we're going to put an if error then 0 around this one. While I'm running through this, I'm just going to exclude examples. It makes it a bit easier to copy and paste here. And I'm just going to do a Control-Shift-S to copy the answers to the left. That then copies the answers that I can put in for level 4. And we have level 4 at 100%. Level 5. We've got to level 5. We're going to select last input and hope that works. It does not. Now it works. I need to check before we run. I'm going to hit pause and then carry on recording. But I need to check what's happening with my last input. There is some kind of lookup on this table that doesn't work with the VBA that I've created. So I'm going to guess the run through. We can try the run through. And then I'll stop recording, fix it, start recording again for you guys. Okay, level 5, we've selected the last input. And we're going to duplicate the formula to the right. So that has all of those individual cells. It's actually just done it because they're hard-coded as a hard-coded text string, which is fine. I didn't want that as a reference anyway. And we're going to do our split text by semicolon, which we used in the last formula. Magic. So we've got that split by semicolon. We're going to duplicate arrays to the right. So we're going to go all the way to the right of this, and I'm going to use Control-Shift-R. This is one that is in here, but it's based on one from MEWC Robot. And the reason I've got this as one that's specifically A to Z is because it does multiple arrays, because I've got a bunch of arrays all selected here. So we've duplicated the arrays to the right, and we're going to do an address lookup from terrain map. So this is going to go look up D22 and all the other cells in the terrain map sheet, same as we did with the last one. So now we have our different types of terrain, that's rock, etc. And we're going to count unique values in arrays. This is based, again, this one is on A to Z training, but it is based on count each unique value from MEWC Robot, I believe. And this will create a little table with the number of values that are each type of terrain. So you can see there's 21 grass ones here, and then the very last one has 6 snow, 5 rock, 4 sand, 4 water, 2 grass. It's spilling at the moment because we've got them all overlapping, but it doesn't matter. We can put the next step in and it will automatically work. So we're going to do a calculate total time with pack adjustment. That is a specific one for this case, but that then calculates our total time adjusting for the pack. It's doing what we did in the previous question as a single step here. So we then need to multiply this by 60 to get minutes, and we're going to round to 0 to get minutes, and we're going to exclude examples. No, I'm going to exclude examples manually because we've got multiple ranges selected there. And then we're just going to save game answer to the left. And if we look over to the left now, you can see that's copied. We can put that into here for level 5. And there we have level 5 completed. Now, going into level 6, we're going to start using our data tables. So this is the point where I'll probably need to reopen Excel after we've done this whole run through and give it a chance to reboot itself. But it's worth a try. So first up, here we have a hiking route, we need to decide how long the hikes will take, but there's a few extra bits and pieces. We've got our adjusted speed, we've got different types of things, and we've got this up or down movement. So if you're going uphill, the topography comes into play. If you're going uphill in a certain direction, so your altitude increases, then it's going to slow you down. If you're going downhill, it's going to speed you up. So let's have a look at this one. For level 6, we're going to run a create data table. This will create a data table over to the right here, which is currently off screen, but that is our data table. And we're gonna create a data table. I did put in a scroll to selection so that we can see what we're working on as an actual step. And we're gonna add a link to the right. That just links into the hiking route. This gives us a chance to kind of split that one out. So we're going to do the same thing, split text by semicolon. That gives us this, and we're going to duplicate the array below. So now we have the cells. That gives us the cell addresses. We can do a lookup first up on the terrain, and then we can also do a lookup on the topography. So first, we're going to do an address lookup from terrain map. That gives us all our different terrains. And we're going to duplicate that array below. Now we've got our rocks. We're going to count the unique values. Count unique values in array. As you can see, there's 22 rocks, 7 snow, 7 grass, and 7 water. And we're going to use that to get our pack weight multiplier. So we've got this pack weight multiplier lambda, which does it based on that table, and that gives us a 0.7 multiplier for pack weight. Move down 1, so we're working in a fresh cell, and we're going to get the array from 3 spaces above. That's our cell addresses again, and that allows us to start looking up the speeds. So this is address lookup from speed map, and that gives us the speeds at each of the cells that we're working on. It's working well. So now we're going to move down 1. We're going to get the array from 4 up, a for you. Again the cells, and now we're going to do a lookup from the topography map. So that has the 400, 600, 800, and so on. And then we're going to run get movement. That should technically be a B dash one, but it is just a lambda specific to this. And then we're going to duplicate the array to below again, and we're going to add up movements. So the up movements give you 0.25 as a solid increase, I think. So it is, you're just summing that or adding that to the speed. Now we're going to go down 1 cell. We're going to get the array 2 up. We're going to get the up, down, so whatever. And we're going to add down multiplier. So that adds on. This is a multiplier. So if you're going downhill as you are here, you've got a 1.5 times speed multiplier. All right. And we've got our down multiplier. We're going to move down 1 again. Now we're going to get the array 4 up. Now 4 up from here is our speed. That's the 4.2, 4.2, 4.2, 2.5. So that's our terrain speed. So now we're going to do our adjustments on our terrain speed. So this is our base terrain speed. We're then going to multiply array first by the array above. multiply array by array above, you can see these have stayed the same, but this one here where you've got 1.5 multiplier has increased. Great job. And then we're going to do another multiply array, but we're going to multiply it by a single value 5 cells up. So multiply array by 5, the one 5 cells up. And that is our adjusted speed. So we've got our base speed, our multiplier for going downhill, and our speed adjustment from pack weight, which is 0.7 in this case. And then we're going to invert the array. This is taking the speed and it's converting it into the distance per hour. Is it? We're inverting our speed, and what do we do next? Dividing it by 2, because each cell is half a kilometer. Half a whatever distance we're working in. I'm guessing kilometers, because in my head I'm thinking in kilometers. So now we're going to add this array. So that's actually kind of like the time it takes to do each section of and each step of the thing. So we're going to add array with the array 2 cells above. So now we're going to add the quarter of an hour it takes when you're going uphill extra for each block. That gives us our times for each individual step, which is great, and we can then just sum that array to get our total time at 9.57 hours. Multiply by 60 to get that in minutes. That's 574 minutes, and obviously that's not rounded, so we're going to have to apply some rounding. That gives us 574. Now, the way I've set up the data table, you'll notice there's a green answer cell there. So I can run link data. I can just type in answer and link answer cell. And that will look for a green answer cell and with the word answer in and link to this cell. And there's our data table. It's copied. I'm not even going to put that into the actual answers. I'm just going to go straight to the website, put that into level 6, and there's our level 6 answers. So the individual steps here go with select first answer cell, that goes there, and paste as references, and there's our answers. Unnecessary step in this point, but we'll go with that. So level 7. First input is working. Select next column, and now we're going to replace the kilometers. It is kilometers. I knew there was a reason I was thinking in kilometers. So I'm going to go back to level 7, and we're going to create a data table. And then we're going to scroll to the selection so that we can see what we've done. There's our data table. Excellent. We're on the end strip now. Okay, so next up we're going to add a link to the right, and that just references the current cell. And then I'm going to run a left, which gets the left character. So we just want the S. N, E, W, and S, I've set those up as cardinal directions in my lookups. But before we start using that S for south, we're going to move left 2. And we're going to add a link to the right. So there's our distance, that's 9.5. We're going to multiply that by 2, so we need to get the number of cells that it's covering. So that's 19 is the total thing, less 1. So we've multiplied by 2, subtract 1, and we're going to get a sequence by columns of this number. and that gives us a sequence by columns of 1 through to 18. Now, I'm going to go left 4. Now we're looking at the starting cell. I want this information now, so I'm just going to copy that to the clipboard. I'm going to go down 1, I'm going to go right 4. This is our starting cell, and I'm going to paste it as references. Excellent. So now, up 1, left 1, and now we're going to copy to clipboard because we want the south as a cardinal direction. Now we're going to go down 1, right 1, we're back in the cell with this, and what we're going to apply is something that works in the direction. So it's like it maps out the direction from that cell AI17 in the direction indicated in the clipboard, so south. So we'll go from AI7, not 17, to AI8 to AI9 and onwards for the number of steps that we have here in the sequence directly above. Now that we've explained that, this is called scan above array with arrow shift. So that now goes from AI7 down to AI25, 18 steps, moving in a southerly direction. So whatever direction we put in there, it will kind of go in that direction. That's using the arrow shift lambda from Emily Williams. Okay. We've gotten past the hard part to explain here. So we're going to duplicate this array to below. We've now got our ranges. We can start doing the lookups that we need to do. So first up, we're going to do the lookup from terrain map. And that gives us our grass. We're going to duplicate that array below, and we're going to do the count unique values. So that's our grid with how many values of each type there are, and we're going to apply the pack weight multiplier that we've already done to get the multiplier for the pack weight. So this, from here on out, a lot of it is very much the same as level 6. The first steps were the hard bits of level 7. So that is the pack weight. We're going to go down 1. We're going to get the array 3 up. So that's our address, and we're going to look this up from the speed map. Those are our speeds. And I'm going to go down 1 and array lookup, get array 4 above. And then we're going to look up from the topography map. So that's our 400 meters. All right. Now, get movement. That tells you whether you're going up, down, left, right, whatever it is. And then we're going to duplicate this array below. We're going to add up movements. So that's the 0.25 hours extra movement. And then we're going to go down 1, get the array that's 2 above that. So that's the same. And we're going to do the down movements, add down multiplier. This is a bit faster, given I don't have to explain all of it as it goes. And now we're going down 1. I'm going to get the array 4 up. So that is our speed. We're going to do our multipliers here. So first up, we're going to multiply by the array above. And then we're going to multiply by the array 5 cells up, or by the value 5 cells up. And there's our multiplier. Invert this to find how long it takes for each individual step. And then we're going to add array, divide by 2, because each one is actually half of that. And then add array to 2 cells up. So that's our extra 0.25, extra quarter of an hour for each cell that's moving upwards. Summary, multiply by 60, round to 0, link our answer cell. There's our answers. We can go and pop that in here for level 7. And we'll mark this as select first answer and paste references. Marvelous. There we have levels 1 to 7. Let's go off to bonus 1. We've got just the bonuses now. So how many snow cells are located at 800 meters plus? So this has just been done as a bonus 1 calculation, which is just terrain map equals snow times topo map equals 800 meters plus. So that's just doing that, and all we're doing for this is sum array, and that gives us 62. Then we go to bonus 2. In bonus 2 we're going to do a link to the speed map. Okay, it's spelling, of course, because we don't know what's in there, and we're going to invert the speeds to get the time it takes to do half a cell. Divide by 2 because each cell is half a kilometer, and then we're going to sum the array, and we're going to round to 0, and I'm going to copy this and paste it in here under bonus 2. We'll also go and get that bonus 1 answer while we're here. So bonus 3 is next. So for bonus 3 we want to know the combined weight of all packs used in all the level 3 hikes. So for bonus 3 we're going to link to level 3 packed weights. Is link to level 3 pack weights, and that is just linking down to these pack weights that we've got in level 3 over here. And we're going to drop the first row and then drop the first row again, so that we don't have the example and the blank ones, and then we're just going to sum all those pack rows. And there's our 63,000, which will pop into here. And while that's confirming, we're going to go to bonus 4. Now for bonus 4, I've just gone to bonus 4 just to mark off the space, but we're going to go to level 4. And what it's doing is we're going to select the first input. First input works, it's the last input that doesn't. And we're going to move right 1. So now we've got the list of the cells that we're going to exclude the examples, so we've got just the cells used in the thing. And we're going to copy to clipboard, and we're going to go back to bonus 4, and we're going to move right 11 spaces. I had to calculate this one to make sure it was to the right. And we've got a paste join by semicolon. So this has joined all of those semicolon delimited with a semicolon, so it's just one giant line with semicolons. So what we can do then is we can then split text by semicolon. That gives us all of them, and then we can so that gives us all the cells that are covered at any point. Okay, just move down 1. Oh. And now that we've moved down 1, we're going to set value to rock. Okay. I literally have a command that sets the cell to rock. And then we're going to move down 1 again. Good job. And we're going to work in the area just below this. There we go. I'm going to call another one that does a link to terrain map. So this is all our terrains, and we want all the ones that are rocks. So we're going to do an address lookup on the value above. Now what my address lookup does is it will return all the addresses of the cells. So here it's just pointing to terrain map, but it's going to go look at what is the address of this value in terrain map where the terrain map matches the cell above it. So address lookup from parameter range name address lookup on value above. So that's the one that we want, and that will return all of the addresses that are rocks in the entire terrain map. So that's our full list of addresses. So we're then going to check if they exist in the array that's 2 rows up. Now you can't see what's happening, it's giving a spell, and what's going to happen is if it does exist in the cells that we've been to, there'll be a number. If it doesn't exist, there'll be an error. And we need to know how many errors there are, so I'm actually just going to run a count errors. That is our answer. So I'm just going to copy to clipboard, go to bonus 4, paste as references, and we can go over here and put that one in here. Right, and finally we have bonus 5. So go to bonus 5. We're looking at the hikes in level 5 that go through all the types of terrain. So in bonus 5 we're going to go to level 5 because that's where we're looking at. We've got these here are where we've walked through, and there's this calculation which does look at the types of terrain, but we're not going to undo those calculations at this point. We're going to select the first input, which is all of this. I'm going to move right one so it selects the second input, and we're going to exclude the examples, so we're just looking at these ones. Okay, now I'm going to duplicate array formula 2 to right, and now what this will do is we'll go to the next blank cell, to the end of this, and go 2 spaces to the right of that. Excellent. I'm just going to run a scroll to selection so that that's kind of off to the left a bit, and we can see what we're doing. So now we've got all of those ranges, and it's in a new area to the right of our working area from the last one. And we're going to apply easy and direct to the terrain map sheet so we can get what types of terrain they are. So there we've got grass, water, snow, rock, whatever it is. It's kind of showing up there. And we're going to then transpose each of these arrays. And the reason I'm transposing them is because unique doesn't work on that, and I want to do a wrap in unique. So this will get a list of all the unique values. So you can see one of them, this one here, only has one type, and that's grass. This one has 5 types: sand, water, grass, rock, snow. And what we're looking for is which of these has 5 types. I can see straight away it's the bottom one, but we need to get this an automated answer. So we've transposed this, wrapped in unique. We can just do count rows of array, and that gives us the 3, 2, 4, 3. Those are the different, how many of the different types of terrain we've hit. So here's a special one just for this. I want it to go to the value 5. I found the value 5. Excellent, it's that very last one. And then what I'm going to do, now I've found what I want, I'm going to go to the first cell in the row, which is the same as just pressing the home button. And then I'm going to go right 1. And that gives me the number that we're looking for, because the answer needs to be the number of the game, and then the first letter of which terrain they didn't go to. So first we're going to get the number. We've Gone to the first cell, moved right one. We're going to copy that to the clipboard. And now we're going to go do a control right. And I actually have control right in here, just so that I can run it. That takes us to that cell. Ah, I know exactly why this isn't working. This doesn't have the dots here because it's not an answer sheet, so it doesn't have lookups in that cells. Gotcha. Okay, so we're going to just run control right 2 more times to find the last value there. We're going to move right 1. And then we're going to paste as reference. Just scroll to selection so you can see what I'm doing. There's the 100. There's the 5 is the number to the right. So now we're going to go right 1. And I've done all this rows unique transpose thing, but we don't need this now. We've found which one's the number 5. We're on that one. I'm going to run Control Shift Z, which is remove outer function, which is a great one from Eric. And that undoes the outermost function and just takes it off. It's not reversible. Use this at your own risk. But yeah, it does mean that I can do, I've got a paste get items not in list, where if I had something on the clipboard, or if I referred to a list, I could then get which items are in this list, are not in this list, but should be from the total list. So on the list of terrain, that means there's only forest missing, and that's what we're looking for. So we're going to go L to just get the left character. There's our 100F, that's our answer that we actually want. To get this in, we're going to do a move left 1, a select right, which is just a control shift right, so that it selects both of those. And then I'm going to add a link to the right. And concat that, and that's our answer. So copy that to the clipboard, go to bonus 5, do a paste reference, and there we go. We can put that into here, and we can stop solving early. And that, with the full explanation, took 49 minutes and 12 seconds. Which, I mean, it's an improvement on the 71 minutes, I'm not going to lie. So, if we go to our A to Z, this is you can see it has improved our speed. Obviously, it's a lot faster if we actually do it. Right, we're ready to start our OA robot InstaSolve. I had to do a little bit of tweaking because sometimes the answer sheets, the sheets downloaded, have the answer, something in the kind of check answer cell, but it's kind of blank sort of thing, and sometimes it's just a completely blank cell. So we're allowing for that, I think. And we are going to have a go at creating the same session again. So we're going to My Games. I'm going to duplicate this game. I'm going to call this OA Robot InstaSolve. Okay, so again, Bushland Adventures, hard. Everything's the same. Let's give it an hour. And save and open. Now, game is ready to go. And let's see how quickly we can solve this using our InstaSolve. Join the game. Start game. We're going to download a fresh file. We can see that is Bushland Adventures 3. Now, you put the letter B in any cell, except obviously the ones that are end up going to be named ranges. And we're just going to type run commands from sheet. That is now going through all the commands that I did earlier. So we've set up the named ranges there. Here we are running level 1 and trying to get the answers for that. This is level 2's calculations. We're on to level 3. looks valid. On to level 4. That's getting our count of different types of terrains. Level 5, we've got our hiking route. There's a bit over to the right that hopefully we should see in a second. It's done the address lookup, it's over to the right, and it's getting those totals. Excellent, on to level 6. Now we're in the data table region, we can see what's happening a little bit better. Fingers crossed data tables are working. They've been a bit buggy with me. It looks like they're producing different answers for each cell, which is great news. And this is the bit at the start of level 7 where we're doing kind of a directional setup and then repeating the same functions we did for level 6, except on this particular path that we've calculated for level 7. Save those answers to the left, and we're into the bonuses. That's bonus 1, bonus 2, bonus 3. There's a bonus 4 calculation starting. We're checking the addresses of all the cells with rocks, comparing it to the list of cells we visited, and seeing how many we haven't visited. And finally we're going to level 5, where we're going to go look at these, see how many of each type we've visited, find the one with 5, return the game number, find which terrain we haven't visited, and concatenate that and pop that into there. 142 seconds is the runtime that took, so let's have a look at these answers and pop them in. I'm not sure if we can do multiple bonus answers at once, but let's give it a go. Yeah, let us do that. Okay. So we can then go to level 1, paste that in, level 2, no, I don't want to move left, and put those answers in. Level 3. Level 4. This is a lot faster to kind of just running through, copy and paste some answers in. It's looking good so far. We've got 100% hit rate. The data tables, it's a moment of truth for those. Yep, it's looking good. And finally level 7, and we can stop solving early. We have 100% solve in 4 minutes and 7 seconds. So that, I think, is definitely a time worth saving. We'll save that one, and we're going to pop that time into our A to Z list here. So that took us 49 minutes doing it with an explanation for each and every individual step. It took us 25 hours to come up with all, it's 230, it's more than 230 now, I think, 238 steps. And our final solve was 4 minutes and 7 seconds. So I'll pop that into our sheet, equals 4 plus. Okay, and as you can see, same as before, that trend line shows that our points per minute are really drastically increasing with that one. So that was Bushland Adventures. Let's have a look at the commands leaderboard that we've created, because now we've got a whole bunch of commands. Again, we had move right was at the top last time. Here we've got move right, move down, move left. Those are coming in quite a bit. We've got these select first input, exclude examples, and address lookup from parameter range name. which does a lookup from a range with certain header codes. So that is one that we're not using directly here, but we've used it dozens of times in here. So this is the address lookup from parameter range name. So it looked up all the cells for terrain map based on the address that we got. So address goes, looks up that named range and brings those out. And then we used that for the terrain map over and over and over again to get the terrains. We used it a bit for the speed map and the topography map on levels 6 and 7. So that one, I guess, would be quite popular. It's a great way to look up, you know, cell references without using indirect. Copy to clipboard, again, that's not something I'm going to use a ton. I'll just use Control-C in competition. But paste as references is a very popular one from Formula Robot, duplicating your array below. The save game answers to the left, you're going to use that pretty much every single time. So that one is definitely in play, and summing arrays is a super useful one. So those are our command leaderboards. I might do a tidy up of the leaderboard going forward so that things like navigation aren't included. I've already excluded anything that's specific to the case. But if it's something like moving right, I can do that. I might even cluster them so that if it's a case of making an array that points to the array or duplicate the array where copies the formula, something like that, I can cluster those ones because we've got duplicate array to the right, we've got duplicate array to the right, duplicate array to below. Those could probably all go into one category and we can get a clearer view of that. So feel free to try this out. I will be including the file in the link below, and you can set your own random cases or you can try and follow what I've set up for A and B. It is time consuming to get things working this fast. But it's time to find out at long last what will be our next case. I honestly, if I get anything that's got like a little half circle here or less, I'm going to be happy, because Bushland Adventures, as happy as I was before, I am a little bit done with Bushland Adventures. I'm sorry, Nick. I know this case very thoroughly in some ways. So, drum roll please. Let's get case number C. Come on. Collect them all. Okay, I can work with that. I'm happy with this one. Thank you very much. So come back next time for Collect Them All, where me and my robots will brew another one. Thank you.
Excel geeks grab a tea. Jack and her robots, Excel set free. Collect commands full speed ahead. The series runs from A to Z. Oh, a robot training show. A to Z. Let's go.